Today's guest was instrumental in bringing summer collegiate wood bat baseball back to Minot. Join me now, it's Steve Wagner. He is the president of the Expedition League and the general manager of the Souris Valley Sabre Dogs. We'll get into that relationship a little bit later. But Steve, first of all, this league just wrapping up the third season, correct? So how was it kind of formed? How was the idea hatched, and how did you make it to fruition?
Well, yeah, it was a long journey. The idea for the league was really birthed about 6 or 7 years ago, and looking at all these great cities across the Dakotas, Nebraska, Wyoming, and westward, and just great cities for what we do, and summer collegiate baseball and fun and things we do that make it great for the fan experience. So that was really the inception of it, way back in 2014, and then building the league and building in each of our cities until our inaugural season of 2018. And you're right, we just finished our third season here in 2020, and excited about heading into the 2021 season.
How about let's just hone in on maybe Minot and Badlands, the Dickinson team. How was the communication with those areas unique to your other inaugural franchises and markets?
Well, every city is different, right? So, you're dealing with a few different groups when you're in North Dakota, since the ballparks are owned and operated by the Park District, which is a little bit different than some of the other places where those are city-owned ballparks. So the communication was different in that regard. For example, in Minot, working with Ron Merritt, the executive director of the Minot Park District, and I felt like it was actually probably a little bit easier and a little bit smoother, because there seemed to be less layers of individuals to work with and work through in the process of getting approved for a ballpark lease. So, for example, Corbett Field, I worked very, very closely with Ron and his staff, and that went smoothly and quickly, and I'll tell you, the lease negotiation process was very, very simplistic and very straightforward, and went very, very well. Same thing over in Dickinson with the Badlands Big Sticks with James Kramer, the executive director of the Park District over there. He was really easy to work with, and it just went very, very smoothly and very nicely, and really both places were just great to work with. So it was awesome in that regard, and the first time I made contact with Ron and with James Kramer over in Dickinson was way back in late 2014, early 2015. So we had a long time to establish the relationship, for them to get to know me, to get to know what we're all about with the Expedition League, and understand that we're very, very much like minor league baseball. We're all about high-level, high-caliber play with our college baseball players and the collegiate players that come and play for us, and the fact that we're all about the fan experience and all about fun. So it was a really good process, and again, both Ron Merritt in Minot, James Kramer over in Dickinson were a pleasure to work with as we got our ballpark leases in place as we headed into our inaugural 2018 season.
All right, so we put the wrap on the third season. The idea was sort of hatched. The grand plan starts rolling in 2014 that you mentioned. Tell me about the time before. How does your background eventually lead you to help starting this league up?
Yeah, it's interesting, Ben. I never would have thought that I would have to work in baseball, to start a summer collegiate league, and to see it grow, and to really combine my love of business with my love of baseball. And I would have never ever dreamed it. I mean, it's a blessing for sure, and an incredible experience. But my background is in business and finance and accounting by trade, and I've owned a couple of businesses along the way, and always been very entrepreneurial and like to see opportunities and take hold of them and seize opportunities that are in front of me. And as I was looking around at, again, all these great places and great facilities like a Corbett Field, or like Hyde Stadium down in Pierce, South Dakota, or Duncan Field in Hastings, Nebraska, that was really set up for minor league baseball. And these communities are anywhere from 20,000 to 60, 70, 80,000. It's perfect for what we do, and it's perfect for the fan experience and the quality of life, and another entertainment option in all of these cities. So as I looked out and saw these wonderful communities with great people and really high caliber baseball facilities and ballparks across the footprint, I got excited about it, and really looked at it and just jumped in. I dove in full time in 2014 as we built the league for 3.5 years before we actually threw a pitch in the 2018 season. So just being able to realize and know that we're bringing something great to these communities, another entertainment option. It's baseball, it's fun, and we're rekindling the youth's interest in baseball and all the things we're able to do when we give back in all of the communities. That just got me extremely excited, and really my entrepreneurial background really tremendously helped. And again, we had awesome doors that were opened and available to us, and I walked through those. And again, it's been a blessing the whole time, and we're continuing to grow and expand. So it's been a fun journey, not without its challenges, of course, just like anything that's worthwhile that you're doing. And it's been exciting, and it's fun to see the growth, and it's fun to see people at Corbett Field with smiles on their faces and having a great time at our Sabre Dogs game. So it's been incredible for through that entire process over the last 6-7 years.
So you talked a lot about your entrepreneurial spirit. Is that basically like your Shark Tank pitch of the Expedition League right there?
Kind of, Ben. It really is. I mean, it's it's something I'm so absolutely passionate and excited about, and it literally is a dream come true. And I knew it would be successful. I just did. And again, not without its challenges, but we've worked extremely hard to ensure that when we come into a new city, that we've done the necessary legwork and research and worked hard to put the front office together and all the key pieces to create that wonderful fan experience. So yeah, I guess a little bit of a Shark Tank pitch there, but yeah, that really is what has driven me this entire time, and why we continue to grow and see incredible expansion. I did do a lot of things in other states and in other parts of the country, and have always been willing and more than happy to service a wide range. But this is unique in that it's a physical presence in all of these various cities, right? We're up into Canada, as you know, up in Brandon, Manitoba, footprint, and a big physical presence in all of these places. So it's larger than anything I've done in that regard as far as just geographic coverage.
Where are you based at the most, and how much do you travel between all the different towns?
Oh man, I'm on the road constantly, Ben. Technically home base is Sioux Falls, South Dakota, but I'm rarely there. I'm always all over the place, and as we continue our growth and expansion, I've been spending a lot of time in Montana over the last couple of months, and specifically out in Butte. And I'm going from city to city and working with all of our great owners across the league. And as when you're looking at and talking about expansion, Ben, you're looking multiple years down the road, right? I've had my sights set on Butte, Montana, for example, since 2018. My first visit there was in January of 2018. So it takes time to go into a new city and establish a new expansion affiliate in a new city, and so that requires a tremendous amount of in-person meetings and upfront work. I travel almost all the time. I mean, it's rare that I'm actually hunkered down in any one place for more than a week or two. So it's a lot of travel. I love it because I just love our footprint. I love our region, salt of the earth people that we have across the Dakotas and Nebraska and westward. I just absolutely love the people. And so for me, travel's not an issue or a problem. I actually enjoy it, and I love meeting new people. So it's, I'm on the road a lot. I put a lot of miles on my car. I'll just tell you that. So it's been great.
I was going to ask if you're like a frequent flyer at all, like tinier airports and stuff like that. But okay, that's cool. So it's probably not to the point of, David Stern not wanting Chris Paul to go to the Lakers a few years back. But how did you balance being like the league president, overseeing all the teams, and then also serving as the GM of the Sabre Dogs? How did that work this summer and I guess currently as well?
Yeah, you know what? It works really, really well because my overriding responsibility is to ensure that each and every team succeeds. And I've mentioned it several times. We have outstanding owners and ownership groups in the Expedition League, and so we've got great people. We all work together very, very closely because we're not competing for anything other than just when we're on the field. Of course, every team and every front office and every owner wants to beat the crap out of the other teams when it comes to the actual game itself. But the neat thing about what we do is that we all work very, very closely together. We all have worked on best practices and things like that benefit. Hey, if something works in Hastings, Nebraska, that enhances the fan experience, we know that it's going to work out in Butte, Montana, for example. So we all work very, very closely together on things like that and operations and the financial side of the businesses, if you will. When it comes to the field of play, of course, we all want to win and beat the other guys. But what I do, for example, with the Sabre Dogs is I just rely heavily on our coaches and Brett and Jack in our front office when it comes to kind of the day-to-day operations and recruiting of players and those sorts of things. So there's really no conflict of interest there. We're operating the Sabre Dogs with excellence and doing all the things we need to do for the fan experience and to grow our fan base and make every game a better and better fan experience. And so, again, I really weigh those two things, and I'm extremely loyal to our owners and the growth of the entire league because that's good for all of us. And then really look to our guys, on a day-in, day-out basis who are doing a lot of the day-to-day operations as it relates to the Sabre Dogs right there in Minot.
So the league was able to complete a 2020 season with just a delayed start, okay? So now that it's all over, I asked you about the forecast earlier in the summer, but now that it's done, you can look back on everything. What was the toughest part of finding a way to play through all this stuff? And were you worried about the league's viability if you didn't have a season or two? Because, there's all these vaccine theories going out of how long it'll really take to get back to normal. What was kind of your stance now as you're one season through the pandemic era?
Yeah, well, I guess I'll answer the second part of that first, Ben. We're on very, very solid footing as a league and each individual team, and that's evidenced by the fact that, even though we were able to have a 2020 season with 6 of our teams, that meant that 4 of our 10 teams did not play in 2020 due to local health guidelines and restrictions. And so those 4 teams are all coming back strong for the 2021 season. We as a league obviously continue to grow and expand, and we're adding teams as we go forward. So we're in great shape, and we are in a good position, and we're very, very strong in every sense of the word to be able to have weathered this past year and whatever might be coming down the pike here. And I do think it will be much, much better for us as we head into 2021. But some of the biggest concern as we headed into last year and we made the determination to play on June 3rd last year and started our season on June 26th, one of the biggest questions was, will fans still show up? And will people come out and support us, and will they be there, and will they want to take part in the fun and entertainment that we provide and the great level of baseball? And the answer, obviously in retrospect, was yes. They showed up. Fans showed up in nice numbers, big numbers, and we're really hungry for us to do this. I can't tell you how many people thanked us for having a season, and we're just thrilled that we were actually there for them to kind of help them take their mind off things, and also to provide an in-person entertainment option when there was nothing going on in a lot of different areas, of course, as it related to the entire minor league baseball being canceled, minor league baseball season being canceled, what was going on with MLB and other sports, and really other things, whether it be youth sports or whatnot. So we were obviously very excited to be able to have our season, even though it was shortened a little bit. It was still a 52-game season in a 55-day window, and with that, we saw a lot of fans at the ballparks, and again, you don't know when you head into something like that. Will there be cases that come up, and will we be restricted from traveling, and what will we be able to do? Well, thankfully, we had our season. It was a successful season. Again, fans loved it. They loved the fact that we were there for them this year, even in the midst of, challenging times. And there's no doubt there was a risk in doing what we did. A lot of summer collegiate leagues just kind of threw in the towel and called it, relatively early. We didn't want to do that. We want to be there for our communities, and we wanted to be a part of hopefully helping people heal a bit through this whole thing. And we really, really did that. And as a result, we were thrilled with the fact that we, drew 100,000 fans across the league, and were able to play again in our own ballparks in those 6 cities where we could play this year. So overall, tremendously successful 2020, and we're set up well for the future, and well positioned, well capitalized to make sure that we can continue to be viable for a very, very long period of time. We'll be in each of our communities for decades and decades and decades, and I'm excited about that. And it's fun to see our growth, and looking forward to heading into 2021 here.
How were you able to use the time where a handful of franchises weren't playing this summer, but to just keep them on track as a business venture heading into 2021, and also to be able to offer expansion franchises that will be debuting next summer?
Yeah, really with the teams that couldn't go, it was just a matter of really managing and helping them to manage their operations. And, the beauty of those teams is, again, A, they're well capitalized, set up well as strong businesses, but also B, we were able to, make adjustments from an expense standpoint. You have to do that when all of a sudden your revenue goes to zero because you're not having a season. Obviously, you need to take care of things on the expense side of the ledger, if you will. And all of our teams have, those 4 teams did a nice job of managing that, still staying relevant, but knowing that they kind of had to hit the pause button because of the fact that, our bread and butter is our 64-game season, of course, our 32 home games for each team. And really they were able to make the necessary adjustments to set themselves up well for the future. And as we look at expansion, I'm not looking at it like, we have to just wait. I don't like waiting. Obviously we're very, very careful and strategic about our growth and our expansion. But when the opportunity presents itself again, you need to take advantage of that. You need to strike while the iron's hot. We've had some, like we mentioned, we've had growth into Montana. We've got additional markets and cities and expansion affiliates that we'll be announcing in the next couple of weeks, and that's exciting. I just think you have to take advantage of opportunities, and I think a lot of people just never take that step. They don't take a risk, if you will, because there's risk in everything you do, and if you're waiting for the sky to be perfectly sunny and no clouds and no breezes or anything like that to make decisions, whether it's business or personal, you'll never make a decision. and I know a lot of people like that. And I think when there's an opportunity in front of you and you've got a community excited about expansion and about a new team coming to town like we do out in Butte, Montana, for example, the excitement level out there is at a fever pitch. You have to take advantage of that, and you need to really strike while the iron's hot. So that's really our approach and our attitude, when it as it relates to our current teams and what we're looking to do with potential expansion affiliates and cities.
Yeah, you said like you've been happy to be in the places that, like the original teams, and you found ways to expand already. But tell me, like, how did you kind of land on the first year markets to choose? And then what's made the expansion cities the right places as you make this league bigger? I guess maybe some overall themes of like what you have an idea as an ideal Expedition League market. And I guess just how do right places come about for you at this point?
Sure. Yeah, you bet, Ben. The biggest thing, there's 3 or 4 or 5 factors that we really look for in a potential expansion city or potential new market, and that is, and we went through this same, analysis and exercise in our inaugural season or leading up to our inaugural season when we chose the cities that were part of that inaugural group, and really, those are obviously ballpark amenities and condition of a ballpark. There's places out there where there are a lot of the other factors in play, but if the ballpark isn't set up well for the fan experience and you can't, grow with it and have a facility that people want to come to, they get excited about, the fan experience is tremendous, and it gives an opportunity for, growth, whether it be additional party decks or things of that nature, then that's a real showstopper. So that ballpark facility, and so, for example, in Minot with Sabre Dogs, Corbett Field is absolutely gorgeous. And so for us, it's obviously a great ballpark because in 2018 we won the best summer collegiate ballpark in all of North America. So, that's competing with 500, 600 other ballparks across North America. So that's a key thing for us, Ben, is ballpark and the facilities and the amenities for the fan experience. Secondly is, population base, of course. We look at communities that, have enough of a population base that we can draw large numbers to the ballparks and hopefully get 1,000 and more per game and those sorts of, population centers, if you will. And we don't just necessarily look at the city. We look at kind of the MSA area, right? Within 25, 30, 35 miles of the city, what's that population base look like? And then really within that, the demographics of that population too. I mean, we have people from newborns to 101 years old in our ballpark, which is wonderful. But really, when you look at it, that mom and dad with a couple of kids is a real important demographic for us because we're a great entertainment value for families to come out and have a great time, and we have something for everyone. And so that's important within that population. Then what are the demographics? And then really the fourth key factor, Ben, that we really look at is how strong is the business environment and the entrepreneurial environment in each and every one of these cities, because of course an important revenue stream for us is to have agreements and arrangements with corporate partners and corporate partnership and sponsorship agreements, whereby we're providing an incredible marketing value for businesses to be able to get their brand, their product, their company name in front of a large audience. And that corporate partnership revenue is one of the 4 or 5 significant streams of revenue for us. So those are really the key things that we look at, and that's not only what we looked at when we started the league with that inaugural 2018 season, but it's what we continue to look at in places like Butte and other places as we continue to expand and grow our league.
So that's what you want as a league and for the fans. What about like when you're actually playing the games? Why is Summer Wood Bat League good for the coaches and players?
Well, it gives them an opportunity to grow their game. So, we've established such wonderful relationships with college coaches across the entire country. And so, when we are recruiting players, and obviously when we're hiring coaches to come in and coach our teams, it's a tremendous opportunity for them to grow their game and to grow, their experience. And the college coaches that send us players love the fact that it's developmental for their players. So they have another 64 games now in the summer to hone their skills, play a lot of baseball. Obviously, we're emulating the minor league experience with 64 games in about a 74-day window, and using wood bats on the road, for series and home for series, and they love that experience that gives them to grow and to get better. And obviously the players, they ultimately would love to be able to play professional baseball and get drafted, and we're seeing that, with the caliber of players that we have and the talent level. So it really helps them to get better, helps them to continue to hone their skills, and when they go back to college for the following season and in the fall for fall ball, they're better players as a result. The coaches that come in and coach with us obviously have an opportunity to get more and more recognition, and we see that, we see, again, players get drafted, go on and play professional baseball, but also players that, might be at a JUCO or a Division II school that get legitimate good looks from a D1 program and really grow collegiately as well. So it's tremendous for development for not only players but the coaches as well.
What's it going to mean for you when you see the first Expedition League alumni play in the major leagues?
Oh man, I can't wait! It's going to be incredible. It will be so fun to see that, and it will. I know it'll be an emotional moment for me because obviously that's what will continue. As we continue to grow, we continue to attract higher and better talent each and every year, and the talent we already have is off the charts. But we just keep getting better and better players. When that first kid cracks into the major leagues, it's going to be absolutely amazing and surreal, and I know it'll be very emotional for me, and I'm excited to see that happen. There's some interesting things going on with MLB and the draft, and reducing the number of rounds in the draft, and some of those things that are going on right now. And so I look at some of the kids we had in the league this past year, and they're going to go high in the draft next year, and I think we're going to see a large number of Expedition League players get drafted, even though the number of rounds in the draft are going to be dropping a bit, and they'll be reducing the number of rounds. But it's going to be fun. That's going to be fun to see, and it takes a few years to get there, of course. But when that first kid cracks into Major League Baseball, it's going to be it'll be pretty exciting, and obviously a wild time for us at the Expedition League.
One of the questions I thought to ask you was, if you weren't in baseball, what would you be doing? So I guess, does this maybe just include like what else you have going on currently, or if you had any other aspirations? I mean, you love baseball, but I mean, if this wasn't happening for you, I mean, what would you be occupying your time with?
Well, I'd be doing something entrepreneurial without a doubt. I've started a few businesses along the way, and I've always loved that aspect of things. I like to take an idea and run with it. So it would be something in business, and again, I've done a few different things over the course of my career, and it would definitely be business related, Ben, and it would be something that would be taking advantage of an opportunity, if you will, and capitalizing on it, and doing something entrepreneurial in that regard. I don't have any other things that I'm even taking a look at, because I'm 100% all in on the Expedition League, and I have been since I started it back in 2014. It's literally more than a full-time venture, and with our aspirations of growth and expansion, and our goal is to have 30-plus teams in this league, and I know that we can do it, and we will do it. I've been in many, many, many cities where this will work extremely well. It's just a matter of the right time and doing it strategically. But I don't even look at anything else right now. It's 100% Expedition League, and I know it will be for a long, long time as we continue to expand and grow this league. So that's really my focus. And but if it wasn't this, it would be something in business for sure. And I've always loved it. And I pinch myself every day, Ben, that I get to do this. And it's obviously a business, but it's the business of baseball, which is incredible. So it's a huge, huge blessing for me.
Hey, that's awesome, Steve. So I wanted to get you out on this one here. You're driving all over the place to all these ballparks, managing the games that are going on, and then also like looking towards the future and planning for that for the league. But when you're not hunkered down with all that stuff, how do you like to vacation if you're at ballparks all summer outside of that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't really done much other than that. It's been pretty consuming. I've always enjoyed. I grew up in a small town in west central Minnesota, and I grew up on a farm, and I've always loved the outdoors. And there's nothing quite like sitting on a lake and doing a little bit of fishing and hunting and that sort of thing. So that's relaxing to me. But I haven't done much of that either. And that's the challenge for me, is that I love what I do so much, and I'm so passionate and excited about the Expedition League and about each of our teams and our cities, and love to see fans having a great time. It can be one of those things where it consumes all or almost all of my time. But man, I love the outdoors. That's one of the things I love about where we have teams. We're in just a beautiful part of the world, and outdoors activities are big throughout this entire region and our footprint. And there's nothing quite like sitting on a lake and just relaxing. But I haven't done a whole lot of that, but that's a good way to spend some time.
Being league president and the GM of the Dogs right now, do you like your chances of winning an Executive of the Year award in the future, or is that too much of a conflict of interest?
That's probably a conflict of interest.
Safe to say.
We have so many good people. We have so many good people in the league, and I don't need to win that award. So we'll keep that. We'll keep that with other people throughout the future here.
All right. Well, you got the best executive to show up on this podcast award. Okay. And we're like 90-some episodes in. So way to go, Steve, and I just really appreciate your time, man. Thanks.
Oh, hey, it's a pleasure being on. I'm glad you're doing this. I mean, this is exciting to be on your podcast, Ben, so thanks so much for having me on.
All right. That's Steve Wagner of the Expedition League and the Sabre Dogs.